It's not going to dodge it. It's going to take it completely out of the fight there. Jacob just bashes down Turbo Smooth with no real reaction time. And the rest of 007 will be joining him in the spawn room.
Yeah, Local Tracer walks into a Brig Shield and somehow dies. I don't think anyone could have seen that coming, potentially. But off the back of that one, 007, they kind of had a desperate touch regardless, and to be honest, their auto economy wasn't looking spectacular. Now they're going to, at minimum, have a Terror Surge window combination, which can be good. Obviously, the #1 counter window is just kite it. It doesn't move, it's only going to cover one spot at one time. However, when using Orisa to drag the enemies back into LOS of it, that double damage can prove to be pretty dominating.
Yeah, but again, this speed ring from Ace is so crucial. Like, you can use it to completely dodge and weave around all these engagements from 007. And it made their way onto the point first as well with that speed boost. Now, the Orisa is kind of like I said, their Booger on Zoe to mind, the window is there to back him up. So now it's going to be who can execute their combo first. Booger, though, won't have as easy of a time to throw out anything with, and I was kind of waiting to build up some more ult, waiting for them to dissipate. There's the engagement. Is there a lamp in time? Just barely. The torpedo is not enough to secure those final blows. The rally out now, too. Even with a pulse, that's a good stick. It should be enough, but he takes himself out. He's enough blinks to get away. Oh, still a man up. The Soak's falling down to Jacob.
That was just really strong kiting, baiting, and then bouncing back from Quick Esports. They recognize that the window is on the other side. They put themselves in a spot where they can completely counter it, and then the moment that's gone, they just send themselves into the backline. They use the Terror Surge, they have a Pulse Bomb to follow up with, and it's strong work from them as a Quick. Now they have their Orbital Ray, their kind of X-Factor. I say unbeatable, been beaten once, but rarely beaten ultimate that should be able to make this a clean 3-0 map for Quick Esports, and that would put them in very good standing for the rest of things. But that is not a tool that's going to be able to be used anymore, because Conde has, magic to pick out of thin air, basically. Booga's able to follow up. The rally is going to allow Jacob to live for just a smidge longer, but eventually the follow-up is going to be there onto Jacob. It's not going to be as clean as we thought it would be, as Docky's going flying right now.
Being taken for a ride.
It is a game of duck hunt, and Docky is the duck. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and this might be a late stagger onto Rory, but Quick do get 86% there, and they do also maintain their orbital rate. Not, I think, by choice, but now they have a devastating combo up as well. That's what 007 did use their time wisely. They have their own overclock coming up. They have their own window coming up as well. That could be a nasty one-shot even without the overclock, just around the window. And that kind of magic pick could really stall this out. So it's going to be on Famous and Ace, and as well Rory, to get in these combos and not let any trades come through. If it gets messy, then 007 have the opening to win this one out. They will also probably get a rally if it drags on to late fight. But they do have Terror Surge advantage. But getting onto this point, the amount of poke and spam that 007 has Omen is going to be difficult. He's trying to walk up. Docky looking for the right time to window. How do you sell this high gun this quick? Evil's already has recall forced out. Ace has gone down. Orbital Ray. I think there might be a Rage Axe though. I don't see it online.
Oh, there's no Ray. There's no Ray. It was a Rage Axe, and that's one way to deal with an ultimate. Just kill the damn player while they're using it, I suppose. That is utterly disastrous for Quick Esports, and also an incredibly cheap fight win for 0907, because they're going to take this point, move over to the next one. They use a window and a pulse bomb, two ults which might as well be a cooldown. They're, super valuable tools, like their overclock, their rally, their Terror Surge. They're right there. They're right there to help take this next point. Quick Esports had a firm grasp on this matchup, and now it is just slipping away.
Yeah, we are seeing that the micro nerfs and micro buffs to Bath and Juno really come into play here, because these orbital rays are super strong, but Doc is getting like maybe 2.5 windows in before Ace can get one online, and if you can't get that one with a very strong one either, it's barely worth it. Conde now trying to set up an off angle with this overclock. Fenris still has his ult and a Terror Surge. I think head on to most of their ults. Fenris already getting poked out though. Speed ring trying to get split pressure, but the pull in is almost certainly going to seal his fate, but good pockets have come through. Actually, it's Booga that falls down in the end.
Booga had a bit of an unenviable decision there, right? There was the overclocking Fenris, and it was either, try and take advantage of the aggressive positioning from Quick to follow up, or just try and pull back. It seems like hindsight being 2020, going super aggressive for that kill, even committing the Terror Surge, the rest of the follow-up just didn't come out from the members of 0907, so ultimately, really wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it is very difficult to go for. You shouldn't be going first with your combo with the bat into the Juno, and now that gives Quick their open. They have a rally coming up to combo with this Terror Surge. It's only going to be the lone rally from Soaks here. And this could tick into final fight if they slow it down. And fortunately, Edge 1 and 7 are very good at spear. Advantage coming with the favor of Rory. Still has his Terror Surge, so it's going to be on Soaks to get a big stun, and maybe Turt's going to build up to this Pulse Bomb going first here. Oh, nice counter bash.
The counter bash actually kills Soaks. They couldn't escape the range of the Terror Surge in time, and Evil was right there with the follow-up. That's some pretty damn good work. If inadvertently, I suppose, 097 have putting in a really good effort here with this window. Pulse Bomb just lobbed in, doesn't catch anything. However, Ace Rifle later into this fight charges up to the Orbital Ray, which is going to be only one of 2 ultimates on the board combined with an overclock from 0907.
Yeah, I mean, you would have liked it to end it there, but Donkey again comes up big with that window. But that said, Ace did build up to a pretty fast Orbital Ray to come in the next fight. Nothing to really combat with, but 0907 also pretty sparse on the ult back. Squigger is coming towards another Terror Surge, but if they can just go first with their speed ring here, get your wrist to clear some space, then actually Orbital Ray onto the point. 07 cannot give the flip here. It's a very difficult situation to walk into. Ace just has to live and get this Orbital Ray online in a useful slot. And Fenris finds the magic pick as well.
And now you just pop the Ray in the 4v5. Your odds of winning go from 100% to 2,000,000%. It seems Booga's going to be caught out by Evil following up on the Tracer. When you pop the Orbital Ray, you can just kind of walk forward on the enemy team. Jacob may be walking a little too far forward, but doesn't matter at the end of the day. Quick Esports bump in the road, but they did take that one to a 2-0. They're now 1 map away from getting themselves further into this upper bracket. Is going to be Doki, who really did pull off some heroics on that 3rd point. That's the kind of inordinate, insane clutch factor that a BAP can have in your competition that a Juno can't. Obviously, you can debate about whether the Juno is better with the speed, you can debate about whether the kind of brawl nature, the stability of the BAP is going to be better. I want to say, Natnif, you look quite different today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But there is no denying that BAP just has individually more pop-up potential. If you have a flex support whose most valuable asset is their ability to click on the enemy's head, might as well just play a BAP a lot of the time. I genuinely think that at this kind of Masters-ish, not quite LCS level, you still can very much get away with that, just having someone mechanically diff the opponent. Unfortunately, Quick Esports are really good team, not just on a macro sense, but on a micro sense as well. When you have players like Evil, just doing so much work on the Tracer, especially against neither a BAP or a Juno, I would describe as like safe against a Tracer. But I would rather have the Juno's mobility and speed rings than I would the BAP's massive hitbox and ability to jump a little in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, that was something I was quite surprised to see, and maybe it was just the angles I was seeing, but generally, the Tracer in the BAP Rigcom especially, his job is to just deny Evil getting onto that backline, but it seems that even with the packs, even with the support, Evil was able to still get kills on the backline, which is, you know, no mean feat, especially just like looking at face value versus that composition. That said, yeah, like the BAP has some of that carry potential, but when paired up with the mobility, like we saw in that last fight, Booker had nowhere to go. He just spin force out, that was it. The Orbital Ray comes out, it's wiped out, and it's gone through. That said, looking to see probably more of Rory staying in, given by the general deciding factor if Bull is playable, Golden Path is in. However, Bull has been banned here by 0907 as they're bringing us to Colosseo. So most likely, again, we'll see a very similar composition here come in. Maybe, depending on the second ban, like maybe more of a Kiri Lucio look, but considering how good they looked on that Juno break, I wouldn't be surprised just to see if they don't fix it situation here.
Yeah, I couldn't quite catch the second character that was banned. We'll be seeing that when all the players are in lobby. It's Quick Esports looking really strong, I can't lie. And I was kind of saying, we didn't end up seeing the first map on stream, but what I can tell you is this. It was close, and it was a bit unorthodox. We saw Golden Pants pulling out the Winston, which is obviously not what is expected from him, but, like, let's be honest, he's no slouch. He's, what is it, he said he's hit champ on Winston before?
I think he hit champ on Winston, and he's champ on DPS. The ranked prowess of Quick, you can see in how good they are, like, mechanically, and seeing them come together, like, and really conform to the level of coordination you need to be pushing into this OWSS level, it's really great to see. That said, the second ban has been conferred to us. It's BAP taken away, so Doki is most likely going to be forced onto mirroring the Juno here if we see them stick with this slower brawl style. 107 do have a Ginger Refill as well available to maybe bring in if we want to try the Queen look, but it's a difficult look to make work, and especially on Colosseo, given some of those longer sightlines, I expect we'll just again see an Orisa mirror here. So everyone, get your pillows ready to rock and roll.
Also, apparently Vision, just in terms of talking about the rest of the bracket, Team Vision have actually got a automatic win via forfeit in round 1. So how about that?
And that was versus Wasp, I believe.
Yes, and if I'm Wasp, I don't exactly want to play against Team Vision either, but I'll pop off, I guess. Meantime, we can keep a little update on the rest of the matches. Arius is currently 1-0 up against Dreamlight. Anomaly and Gas Tier 3 are currently tied 1-1. That could be an interesting one. Quick Esports, of course, currently up 2-0. So whoever wins this match, and to be realistic, right now it's looking closer to being Quick Esports than 0907. That could be a particularly interesting one. So yeah, Quick Esports versus Team Vision. What can I say? That's looking likely, but 0907, they could pull something out. You never know. It would be a bit of a wild one. I would be impressed, but they're playing Colosseo. They have a ball ban in. I do very much see the vision.
Yeah, and that looks to be where Quick is gonna go next, but I don't want to fully count 107 just out, because when I first watched 107's debut versus Arius, they did take Arius, who are in that second seed, to a 3-2. That said, overall match score wise, even though 107 are 1 seed only below Quick, 4th seed versus 5th seed, the match score difference is pretty substantial. It was a 9-6, I believe, record for 107 versus the 12-3 for Quick, putting them in that top 4. And yeah, we'll deal with the vision issue when we get there. I believe it was a dogfight last time, but
not really.
I mean, I have an actual dog here now. Maybe that's the strat all along. I've been transformed by Tobias into a dog specifically for this moment. Also,
you in a dogfight against Team Vision?
Egda, did you see my proposal again for the Twitch chant for Golden Pants?
No.
For our stream chant. Maybe you should read it first before I promote it, just to see if I can get your nod of approval.
Where can I find it?
It's in the production chat, I believe. You know what? I'll spoil it. It's just Golden Your Pants for Golden Pants. Do you think that will give any advantage to our valiant heroes versus Team Vision when it gets there?
Could you explain to me in 500 words or less exactly what you meant by that?
I mean, people should get on Golden Pants for Golden Pants. It's this thing regularly done on the stream. We get little golden pants under our casting cams, or your casting cam and my casting dog. And we support Golden Pants.
How about if Quick make top 2, I will buy and wear a pair of golden pants.
Alright, okay. I'm there for that. We've got stakes now. I'm ready. But getting back to the match at hand, 097 now on the verge of being knocked out lower bracket. Never mind. They're going to stall for a bit. Need a bit longer to get their heads in the game.
Turns out BAP was the ban, actually, from Quick Esports.
Yeah, BAP was the ban.
Well, I guess they really don't like Doki, I suppose. But this is going to force... Put it like this. We're on Colosseo. Ball is banned. We're going to see an Orisa mirror. Orisa's just so good right now. I always say this, and it's just my theory, but it's also just always correct. In 5v5, every meta is going to coalesce back to Orisa and or Mauga.
Yes,
we can see balance changes, and people will see Diva or Winston for a while, and then it'll just be Orisa Mauga again. So we're currently at that stage of like the kind of cycle. We're at the Orisa meta cycle. Very much so.
The second we see a single Korean team on Mauga, everyone's singular brain cell will fire together and go, Mauga's meta, guys. Orisa's dead. Always has been. But in the moment, we can enjoy the Orisa, and I'm not seeing Quick on Malga. Maybe you've had the, I was going to say luxury to cast the Malga, but that's probably a bit of a sugar coating. And it's not exactly, I mean, I think Ball is not terrible. I think actually Ball might be better into Malga than into Orisa, just because like how many times you can get those quick hits. That said though, it's going to be Almost having hovering the Diva at the moment, and Quick looking to run it back onto this Orisa. That said, Jacob out, Whitebeard in. It's going to be Kira Lucio coming in here with the Sojourn instead.
Kira Lucio both these sides as well. It's another pause.
Okay.
Never mind what I was going to say. No, so Lucio Kiri backline, ever since Kiri was introduced into the game a few years ago, this has been one of the staple backlines as well.
Yep.
It has a good hybrid. It doesn't exactly have massive healing output, though people do actually underrate the healing output value of the Kiriko, and the fact that Lucio also got a very small buff to that output recently, which always helps. It's more so the comp just has insane survivability, huge kind of spikes of power, with things like the fact is basically both Kiri and Lucio are fast-paced burst mobility characters. You know, you have the Suzus to engage, to sustain your engages. You have the Lucio speed to call the engages, and then you have an Orisa who, again, while you can play static at the highest level, it's often a lot more valuable to just kind of try and jockey for position and then try to all go in together, right? So I think that's the main thing that I'm looking for. Not just a case of how these teams engage, but also how they set up before that. We also have some other variants. We have the Diva from Booga, which I think is really going to be a struggle on Colosseo specifically, to be honest, but the Diva's better at controlling angles and high ground. Now, there's not a lot of angles or high ground on Colosseo, so Booga is going to be playing a bit of a dangerous game for a while, but the hope is when everyone is shooting at me, no one's shooting at my backline, and they can get work done.
Wow.
And they all
Everyone shot Booga. And
I do not see the don't see the Diva vision. Not because it's a bad like competitional choice. It's Colosseo to be specific. Right?
Yeah. Oh my! What a spear at the end there. But it also is weird as well seeing the cast come in. Like I'd expect to already the Soj variant here. Like because the cast like needs a lot more pocket, a lot more blue. And yes, you can pocket your cast with Defense Matrix, you know, in that situation, but with how fast you want to play, I feel like your cast can maybe kind of get left behind.
It almost seems like it almost seems like both teams are playing the wrong hit scan, as weird as that sounds. Now, granted, it can be pretty interchangeable, and it often is a preference thing, but if we're talking like sheer optimization, I kind of want Quick to be running a cast and 0907 to be running a Soj here. It'll complement them a bit better. What else could complement the push is a Kitsune Rush, which is going to come out from Ace to take this fight off the rip, allows Rory to just walk into the backline, get Doki and Condi out of the game right now. Fenris follows up with a rail too. Quick Esports are looking dominant right now. I think this Orisa in a frontline war against the Diva is just so free. It's completely uncontested.
And I mean, like, right now, Doki's just gone complete opposite the section, going from, you know, being the one claiming headshot now just being the victim. That just momentum is piling up for Quick. They have the beat as well. They have, and they took time to beat to match. Me, big ult fight coming up on this checkpoint. Nice eat from Booga onto the pulse from Evil. Both beats now coming out. Much of beat from 0907 should give them the advantage, but I mean, can also quick clutch up. There's Terra Surge trying to catch away anyone, but they're able to flee the scene. Stick though should end Rory and Fenris falls just behind.
Yeah, a bit of a protracted engagement there, but 0907 they did build up and no, I didn't get the one. So eventually, 0907 they did have an ultimate advantage. They were able to pocket Tsune Rush into the proceedings as well as the mirrored sound barriers. Two ults generally better than one. Plus the fact that the pulse bomb was a non-factor because Booga managed to eat it up. It's always a bit of a toss of the coin as whether that's going to get value anyway, but you know, it is better to be safe than sorry with the Diva on your side. So strong work from Booga to, you know, take that equalizer off the table as well.
High Noon now getting full pocket Matrix, Suzu as well, spear spin out, everything out, but it's going to catch Fenris. I think maybe a boot from the side of Whitebeard that caught him there because Fenris kind of flying into the LOS there, or rather, Kondo flying into his. And now Quick Esports are down a member. That's an ace. Very efficient on this Kiriko so far. We're kind of seeing the Flexibles take turns of who can be the playmaker. Another Kitsune Rush as well, ahead of both feet, trying to get everyone up. Rory sipping up the Suzu as well. Luga does have Bomb, but the rest of his team don't have such a second life to keep them up. And Fenris taking names too. It's going to be a late stagger probably onto... Never mind, Luga kills Ace with the Baby Blaster.
I was gonna say Ace hero of the fight, but Ace immediately lost all aura of Shane. So we're currently like a neutral aura exchange for Ace right now. Yeah. No, but a strong fight there for Quick Esports, and yeah, it was Ace's heroics. In the mid fight, being able to pick the Tracer, then charge to a Kitsune Rush, and then use both Suzus on the Orisa to enable that aggression. Really strong work. On the flip side, 007 have their own Kitsu Rush. These are the only ults which kind of aren't really being charged in sync with each other. And it's so good in this comp that, honestly, that could be the thing that swings each fight.
Ooh, Rory just barely able to scrape away there. That's a nice kite away, and you're forcing them to use it on their side of the field. That said, now as well, Quick, going to be on about these beats here. There's the Charizard coming in, maybe playing the Ajax again. Booger able to Evil's Pulse on for a second time. Later beat from Quick should get the advantage, and it will. Whitebird able to take out Doki, Rory taking out Conde as well. So Evil should have clean up here. That said, Booger is fighting back, still has that Diva Bomb, is going to invest it here to get this second life. That said, they are hunting him. Time to catch Evil with the... Huh? Evil with the Diva Bomb.
2025? And now Turbo's moves back, been able to get the Lucio. I mean, okay, I guess it's Booger's turn now to just be an absolute freak of nature. Is Booger's not even going to lose back?
That's
what is this? Okay. They put the... I don't know what they put in Booger's cereal this morning. Anabolic steroids is my only conclusion. I mean, you kill one with the Diva Bomb, you eat the Pulse Bomb from everyone in the Terror Surge, which could have ended in like a quick, like, 3-4k at the start of the fight, and you stay in mech for all of it as well. You build up to the major perks, so you have some more survivability in the front line now, recharging shields with your Matrix 2. However, there is still nothing that you can do against the overwhelming aggression of one beefed up Orisa in a Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, Fenris as well, able to get another opening pick. That said, Rory is left on an island, never mind, just completely marooned there. And Quick could have maybe spiraled that into some more meterage. That said, it's again another fight where 007 are not going to get any of their own. Evil able to get a last second trade onto Soaked as well. A bit of a salt in the wound, and or a ceremonial gesture. Fenris now has the overhook Rory with the Terror Surge as well. 007 are going to have this. Already both supporters coming up, depending on how fast Quick Esports can take the fight. Maybe they look for an Ajax here. They don't have their own beat coming up either. So it's all going to be onto Fenris. So you still want to win this fight to keep control of the lead here. So this is kind of do or die for Quick to hold onto this lead. There's the first investment. Pulse out as well. Stays good. And there's Lucio down. Rory following as well, even in his own ult.
Yeah, good work. Fenris does trade back one onto Soaks again, but at the end of the day, it is a Lucio. Definitely a mobile character, one that can get back in the fight quickly. 10 meters. Recall that Quick Esports never actually got the forward spawns. I don't know if a contest is going to come through. If it is, it's going to be a messy one. But
Evil just get it. That means Rory gets it too. And now the squad is back in full force. And technically still the bot is Rory. They haven't shaken loose. It's given time for Whitebird to build up to his own beat to mirror it. They're just 4% away still. 007 have an opening. Ajax is still possible inside. There's Soaks with the earlier one. Later one out. He's able to catch the most, but Fenris isn't the recipient. He's able to skirt away and live. But 007 now are at as much of a mind. Even with later beat, they win. Evil able to trade back. No overclock online. Bomb still is though. It's the second life available. And Quick Esports health bars are staying low. It's only Ace trying to keep them up, and Rory's running out of cooldown to keep himself alive. This lead is barely inches away, and Doki takes out Evil. Lead taken away, forward spawn in just a second as well, and now Quick have had the script flipped completely onto them.
007 really battling back in a big way. It seems they want to keep themselves into this. They want to stay in the upper bracket. They want to fight Vision Esports. Sorry, I guess. Wish the best for you and your future generations, but what a statement it would be if they can bring this one back the way they're doing right now. Evil has a Pulse Bomb locked and loaded. Booger has been very good at keeping these covered for the time being. He's actually positioned quite far ahead of the members of Quick Esports. That's a Kitsune Rush out from Ace. combined up with an overclock of Condi into the proceedings as well, but it's going to get barrel stuffed in this corner, absolutely flattened. Bugha's heroics aren't going to be worth a lot on the latter end of things, but Turbo and Docky's could, because they're still getting trades in this one.
That's just diabolical. I mean, I don't know, so I might as well add the lunch money of Quick Esports to the Lickopy at that point. That was disastrous, and now they have Senior Rush to come up as well. I mean, yes, we do have an overclock coming up. We do have Terracer just on the horizon, but they still have to win this fight and, what, 3 more. Bugha's getting chunked down. Then Terracer is out, mostly to save himself. He will catch Conde, though, in the midst of it all, having to back away from this Terracer to again get some more meterage, but it will take their lives from 0907. Trying to catch on the soaks at the end there. Ace fleeing from his life with Bugha with a double TP. That could be a nice little stagger and they get the bot rolling. I think that might be the move here, but no, they're not able to. And Ace still gets traded super late.
And now I'm seeing a bit more the value of the D.Va.
What? Okay.
Just go to the retirement home. Turbo moves like a butterfly and stings like an RPG. But what we've got here is the D.Va is, what I'm noticing is just very good at getting the isolated targets. So when the fights are getting scrappier and scrappier, someone overextends just a little bit. Bugha is right there with the clean assassination. Yes, there is a can do that, but it's a lot more telegraphed. Because he has to cover a lot more open space, unprotected, to be able to do that. D.Va just fly to you, take you out whenever the hell they feel like it. Fenris pops the OC, Rest by 7 conveniently back up. Mirrored beats on both sides. Quincy's going to be slightly later, but they're used roughly the same time, so it should just be pretty even value right there. Evil with another stick right now. This is what happens when, unfortunately, your D.Va is not there to babysit. Bomb does not get anything, and there's going to be no quick remake. So Quick Esports in an overtime situation now. They've got 36 meters left on the point to finish this one out. What tools they have to do this with?
I mean, they have their Kitsune Rush. They're going to come up to my Terra Surge, but they have to win, like, at least 2 fights. And they haven't got the bot scratch either, or that checkpoint more professionally. So that's going to be maybe even a potential later recon. That said, I'm trying to fight before the team to get those forward spawns. I'm going to contest now, maybe force out the Kitsune Rush. Really force out the cleanse, and there's the rush to follow up. Probably has to invest that Terra Surge. It could be disastrous. They've still not even capped that point yet, and they will. Just barely. 0907 now have an overclock to work with, and Quick Esports only have Rory's Terra Surge to do anything with. Dad looked down, shut down Conde, but he's been playing on that high ground so far away. Rory's trying to get on top of him. The cleanse is good, and they see 9? Oh, in the desperation to shut down Conde, they... Oh, no! No!
Oh, mate. Oh, mate. They were so scared of the overclock that they forgot about the one thing in this game that matters far more than the enemy's ultimates, and that's the objective. They had a tough time of that one. They had to push up against the overclock and against a D.Va who was just controlling the high ground. And, you know, sometimes the team having a high mind is a very good thing. You know, that, you know, monkey see, monkey do. They all act on one thing at the same exact time. That's great. I'm so proud of them. Doesn't work exactly, however, because they get off the point. So, they won't... Well, they're going to win that? Probably not, but you can never say never, right? Quick Esports, they get their next map pick now, and I think that this is where things become... They picked Circuit. Why have they picked Circuit? Because Golden Pants died.
Okay, it could be Golden Pants Alari. We have seen Golden Pants Alari come out a few times. That said, it's still Quick Esports picking Circuit.
I mean, I guess I'm trying to think about the map pools, right? I don't want to be a contrarian for the sake of it. Flashpoint was gone because New Junk City was played. Control was gone because Oasis was played. Push was gone. I mean, Hybrid was still available to you, but I guess...
I guess maybe because, like, kind of all of those Hybrid maps suck for Bull. They want to end it. But then, like, Escort has both Dorado and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Which I guess if you're scared of the D.Va and maybe Bull isn't, like, super duper strong on them at this higher level... Maybe. And I mean, they did look very good on Circuit last time we saw them. As it was against a notably weaker opponent. Still, it is a confusing order of affairs. That said, the ban, taking it Remarksha, does, you know, very much clearly lay out they want to play either the Orisa or the Sigma and play it again that super duper slow style, which maybe I expected the double flex support in with Golden Pants on Alari, but still, yeah, impressive turnaround from 0907. We can never really count them out. That cleanse at the end there as well, like you do kill Kondo with a Terror Surge otherwise, even with the slide he gets pulled back in. But we saw the effect of that D.Va, like you said, just super mobile, able to just shut down like basically everything in front of them with the defense matrix, while the Orisa can only really help themselves as much. That being said, it is going to be Rory still in, and Ace and Whitebeard too, so no Golden Pants Alari to treat us today, so
Which
yeah.
then makes the question even more as to why they picked Circuit. I mean, like, their options are Dorado, Circuit, or Gibraltar. I feel like you can play Golden Pants on Winston on Gibraltar, or even Dorado, or even just cut out the middleman and play Ball on Dorado. Like, I wouldn't play the Ball immediately on Gibraltar as opposed to Winston, but on Dorado, yeah. Why the hell not? Ball's playable on that map.
Yeah.
They have bigger brains than we do.
True.
We do have our bans though. Ramattra was banned out for Quick immediately, which kind of suggests to me that they want to play that they're actually willing to take the Orisa mirror. Again, the bygone era of the Sigma Widow Freya is exactly as it sounds, bygone. Not that we won't see maybe some kind of long-range hit scan. I don't think it's infeasible that we see Sojourn and or Freya being played here. In the meantime, Brig banned for 0907, which can only suggest to me that they kind of want a hard commit to some kind of double flex port backline, whether that's a Bap Zen, a Bap Alari, and Alari Zen, if we're in freak mode, if we want to go Weaver Bap, because God is dead and we kill him. Then that is another unfortunately quite feasible option for these teams as well.
I mean, the Brig as well is certainly interesting, because we have at point seen the D.Va come into play, and Brig is, historically and modernly very good into that. So maybe if we want to see them kind of attempt that style that has been moderately successful here and there. We've seen some Zarya come out as well from Quick on this map. We've seen a bit of Sigma here and there too. So a lot of different looks. Circuit Royale has been, like you said, completely broken open from just the Sig double sniper style that can still be played, but with its ups and downs, with its more modern counterparts being a lot of times able to really throw a spanner in the works. So we are just going to wait to head into there and just see what they're pulling out. I think this is the most interesting map for me so far, just on looking at it before the match even started, because never mind, Golden Pants is in, so we are going to see that double flex come out with the Bap Alari, I have to imagine, or Juno Alari or something. They've only just added them into lobby. So it is going to be that look. We're going to be treated to the Golden Pants support.
I will be purchasing a pair of Golden Pants if they get to the finals. Well, if they get promoted, then you have, then you don't even want to know what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
Point is, Quick Esports, they're happy to run the D.Va on the defensive side here. Actually, Lucio Kiri.
It's flipped.
So it's 0907 on the 0907 on the defense regardless. I mean, I guess they're just gonna not respect the distance, which is fair enough. I wonder exactly how aggressively they can play. It doesn't look like they're going for a spawn camp, so that eliminates that possibility.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that they're going to be holding at the corner and just trying to like snap it, trying to have like their jaws out like a Venus flytrap and just snap up any member of 0907 who oversteps, which is inevitably going to be Rory, who is actually going to be pulling out the Sigma. So it's Quick, who they banned the Brig to, I guess, better enable, as I said, the double flex backline. Golden Pants, definitely a good aimer, for sure. Don't know much else about the Alari, but don't have a problem hitting the shots, which, to be honest, is like 90% of a kit at the end of the day. Rory actually booped off the top there. I think that was a drive-by from either Soaks or Booga. Takes a lot of damage falling down, but is going to be fine for the time being. This corner can be very, very stalematey. If this fight happens for a long time, then, you're going to run out of Matrix. Booga's going to be forced off. Quick Esports then get the open space. Now the cart's moving around the corner slower and slower. Booga with a nice dodge onto the rock there to continue to be in a position to apply pressure. But slowly, you can just see, it is exactly how it's played up. 0907's health bars were draining slowly, but they were draining over time. They couldn't get their decisive blows quickly enough. Again, Booga, that is a decisive blow from Booga, but it's just too late. It's just too late. And Golden Pants falls off the map because why not?
It makes sense to me. Yeah, it's like Booga just can't really do anything except kind of soul cart over and over again. You kind of realize there that Rory just didn't even look at Booga that much. I'm just trying to shoot the backline. That said, being invested from Soaks, the entire rest of us have returned to the fray. That said, Fenris has gone down there as well. There's been no actual response from Quick, even though they made so much progress. No real ult's been taken, so they have to pull back this next corner. That said, they can swing this next one with Window. They're playing up in Flux as well. Alari ult too, which is a lot more difficult into this 0907 front line or even back line with the both defense available. That said, the point is so close. They're going to have to invest too much defensively to try and ward them off time B. Window in response. Alari out too onto this back line. Only a small connection, and now just Turbo Smooth is shrouded in the back line. Golden Pants, though, is the only member alive that can help Rory, and not able to do so. Conte with the overclock to try and clean this one up. And momentum has been staggered out here. Only a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock. Quick Esports will be back in with 3 ults into 0907's, well, only the one, the Diva Bomb, is their last hope.
They've done a pretty good job to hold on to it for this long, but one Diva Bomb, I mean, I say that, but if you think about it, this kind of point around the corner, there's a lot of open space. It even has an Ice Block force early as well. I mean, I actually see the vision for this Diva Bomb, not necessarily getting kills, but actually being forced to be respected by Quick Esports. Not going to get anything, unfortunately, and Golden Pants able to stop the remake as well. So Quick Esports had the ult advantage, and they were able to utilize it to firmly get themselves around this corner.
I am surprised the Blizzard come out there as well, because it was literally on the exact same spot as that Flux coming out. And maybe you wish you had it coming around the next corner, but Quick should probably be looking to hold up this nice and close. It's very difficult to break out of, and there's no immediate ult for 07 to try to cheat on through. That said, it will be a 4v5 on this point, as I believe it will be Golden Pants or Ace on the point at the moment. Booga will clear that first turn out, but losing so much of his armor in the process will just split him as well. With a lot of pocket, which means that this card can just keep on rolling for Quick, and it can build up to these support ults. As I said, Soaks managed to build up a pretty fast speed, going in super aggro. Just
full sends on 88p. Okay, my guy, but ultimately, you don't argue with the vision, you argue with the result, and there is nothing to debate about what just happened there, which is 0907 using their beat aggressively, being able to get into Quick Esports' face. And yeah, you look at their composition, they're pretty uncomfortable with a close-range matchup, you know. You have, like, the Mei, sure, but she doesn't have any meaningful mobility, and then every other character, your Bap, your Alari, your Freya, your Sigma, they do not want to take that face-to-face duel.
Yeah, and when you invest in a beat like that with the amp perk, like, you just cannot disengage. That's a 7-second amp in to chase it on top of your regular one as well. Quick Esports, even less of a chance to get away, and 0907 have 3 ults of their own. Quick have 1 or 2 seconds here, but both are missing ults. And again, super aggressive play, Quick caught off guard. Yes, you do invest the overclock as well, but that was just shredded apart before they even be aware of the danger coming in.
I mean, yes, Quick don't use anything, but at the same time, they haven't pushed the point. And the number one thing is time. Even if you are running out of... Like, it is very much worth using one ultimate, just win the fight outright. And Quick are having to make adaptations on their side as well. They know that they need speed to kind of close this, to just kind of get into a decent position. So Booga comes back, eats up. Yeah, this guy is actually just a freak of eating these ults. Golden Pants have a freak of shooting, doing that turbo smooth very effectively right there. Rory taken down in the ensuing chaos. However, Evil's popped a Blizzard. Didn't seem like it was able to actually get anything right here. Should be able to bully Booga off the front line, especially with the Major Berg able to just freeze up that Diva. But again, your tank went down early in that fight. It's only now going to be returning. And speaking of returning, Turbo comes back with the blade, pulls it out. You're able to get Golden Pants up, caught in the flux and all the chaos, but you actually barely escape with your life. The dash at the end into the 1 HP Suzu. Rory's going to be taken down here and staggered out from the rest of the team too. We're going to get 40 seconds left on the clock right now. Quick Esports are not having a good time here. And to be honest, yeah, this makes sense. Why did you pick Circuit?
Quick try to keep everything super slow, play their poker under 7, are just not having it. They're going fast with their ult, they're going fast with their amps, and it's just absolutely obliterating them. And even with Ace on the Juno and Royce going to go to the Diva, trying to match this speed in any kind of capacity. Under 7 still have another beat around the corner. Quick have nothing just yet. Yes, they have an orbital ray, but there's only 10 seconds on the clock, and Soaks, we know how aggressive likes to get with these beats. Kitsune first as well, and now there's the amp in, all the resources on the world for the entire Under 7, and Quick might even die before they get online. Ace has it as orbital and fast, because Rory is already out of the mech. Second amp, and Bugha has a bomb as well to even clear this orbital ray. Now it's online. It's been thrown out onto the point, but there's no one to even use it. Only Ace himself. He was trying to make something happen, but bomb thrown out to clear the cart. Clear Ace off of it as well, wiping it away like a smear. And even though Evil's getting his trade, he's a lone standing member in the face of an overclock and 2 other members. And Quick Esports are stopped shy of just past that first point there. 007 looking strong on this faster comp.
Looking increasingly like we're going over to the map 5. 0907 dragging this one out from the depths. It was all Quick Esports in the first half, and now 0907 are really pulling it back, putting in a tremendous performance here. And again, I'm just going to ask your opinions on this, to be honest. I'm not... 2 maps that 0907 are winning or appearing to win, where the Diva, just on paper, does not seem very good. Aside from Bugha being nuts at the character, which he clearly is, like, is there something that I'm missing here about the Diva on these very frontline heavy maps like Colosseo and Circuit?
I think the Diva, we have kind of seen her being played on here. Like, I remember Hanbin and Max going back and forth in it a while ago, to be fair, but especially with the speed boost, especially with these kind of engagements, if you can't play the Winston, and the Diva still, even without the Winston, if you can't play the Winston, Diva is uniquely strong in just being able to really just enable these super fast comps, able to support your DPS super heavily, able to absorb pretty much everything on the side of Quick as well, and have these fast hits that can get in and out, and make Quick's life miserable. They want to play these slow comps, and that's been the case even on the Coliseum. They want to play those kind of slower fights. With the mobility of the Diva, with the defense matrix, with the sustain as well, you are able to, especially considering, I'm not sure which perk might have been, but I believe that Bugha has been picking this heavy missile perk, which into the more stacked backline of Quick can really shred them apart. It's not a too popular of a pick into ranked, but in the higher levels, it does have a lot of frequency. You're able to get people like fully critical with like a couple of missiles into an entire backline. So they're going to be running it here again. So much span, Turbo Smooth, we move over onto the Genji, the second one, starting on again on this Pharah, and Quick, they're going to have a tough time holding on to these angles, trying to suppress them. They're playing this back corner to try and force out this longer kind of brawl, and Rory's also starting off on this Orisa instead.
And you can see Turbo Smooth is just creating so much chaos because, yes, Quick, they do have like options to keep Turbo in check, but ultimately you don't have like hard hit scan. Golden Pants is going to be too busy looking at a million places at once. Fenris has to charge up a rail before being able to effectively pressure that Pharah out, and we can see exactly what happens when you apply too much pressure from the side of Turbo Smooth. You're able to take Golden Pants out of the equation, get a late kill onto Evil as well, and just cap the first point. Remember, it took Quick Esports about 3.5 minutes to cap this first point. 0907 have just about done it in 1.5.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing Evil now go over onto this Genji. Again, Quick, we're seeing this kind of slow evolution, and they're realizing they want to ramp up the speed even more. They're going to Diva and they're going to match onto Bugha, who's already had Diva bomb at the ready, and the Golden victory, it's already inside. 2 support ults want to throw it up here if they want to close out here and now. It's only double support ult from Quick as well to try and counter it back. Rest 107 though, it's 5 ults to 3, and Fenris has already gone down. The orbital rays come out. Golden Pants can't find a final connection, or any shot even, onto Conde with the Ilario.
No.
Golden Pants, no! The Diva behind as well. The Turbo Smooth kills himself with the barrage. Maybe it's the winnable, but Doki finds an execution there onto Golden Pants, putting him out of his misery. No one can touch the point. And that was disastrous there. 007. We couldn't
Game's gone.
Out.
Game's gone.
It's rough.
Like,
it's rough.
I could actually just, I could actually see the beef just like falling out of Golden Pants' hands at the end there. All the spaghetti that was initially in his pockets, 0907, they turn him upside down and they just all spill everywhere. That's crazy. Right, well, how about that then? 2-2 between Quick Esports and 0907. Not exactly a result that was anticipated, dare I say. These teams did play each other. Granted, this was quite early on in the season, about kind of the end of May. We are, of course, now firmly in the beginning of July. But that was a 3-0 to Quick Esports. Yeah. Of course, the exact map scores, I'd still have to check, but on the surface of it, it doesn't seem like particularly close matchup, if we're being perfectly honest. Now, 0907, they really are making, it seems like a bit of a late season resurgence. From what I do know, they did have a somewhat tough loss in their final match against Gas Tier 3, but all I've been hearing is that they have gotten like markedly better as time goes on. They're like fine wine; they just age well like that.
I believe as well that Soaks has been a pretty recent addition to the 0907 core. I believe it's an NA import even as well. We haven't seen the recent addition of a tank, Ginger Rayful, either. We are going to run a Sappy, so maybe this is like the more queeny kind of map. Well, I'm seeing a Hazard ban come out here from Quick Esports here. I was going to say,
I mean, that like they want to ban Hazard because Hazard doesn't like specifically counter ball, but Hazard comps can kind of cause a bit of struggle to the Wrecking Ball. Individually, the matchup is like fairly even because they mostly ignore each other, to be honest. But
yeah,
if you don't exactly want to be, because no one else is going to play Wrecking Ball except for, except for Quick, right?
Yeah,
Hazard. There are a lot of very good, very proficient Hazard players. Booga, of course, could very well be one of them. You don't want to trade backlines with that, to be honest.
Just maybe also just ban D.Va. Like Booga has been looking really good on the D.Va.
Actually, I do see the vision, especially because D.Va, like, again, like she can't necessarily kill the ball outright. But let's be honest, like no one can kill the ball outright. It's a Wrecking Ball. That's his entire gimmick. But like D.Va can do a lot to deny the engages. Is just going to be generally holding Matrix, generally going to be bullying out the, generally going to be zoning any support off, even if you can't deal with the ball directly. If you can stop, the Kiri peeking, the Lucio peeking, the Tracer peeking, that helps as well.
What it also might have been is I see Jacob and Ace back in. Now, when we saw them play with Rory, it's expected to be the Juno break. However, when we see Ace and Jacob paired up together, Jacob is, almost, exclusively known for his Brigitte. And we have seen Ace play the Zen. That said, the Hazard ban doesn't indicate to me that you want to play the Brig Zen style. That said, 0907 also seems to be reading into that and ban the Zen straight out. So now you have your Brig player in, but you can't play the best Brig-oriented backline with your... Okay, I got scared for a second. I saw Rory and Golden Panther as well, but you can't play the best ball backline with the Brig. So now what do you play? Do you just put Jacob on Lucio and play the Lucio Kiri? Do you play Lucio or play Juno Brig here? Like
I think you still want the Brig.
Yeah,
if we're being,
because
I think you still want the Brig.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because you want to deny the Hazard is just so good into the Brig.
I mean, the Hazard's good into the Brig. The D.Va isn't. D.Va really struggles against. Okay. D.Va really struggles against Brig, and 0907 they're going to be playing the D.Va, so you want the Brig. I see the vision for Juno. I don't love it. I kind of rather want a Kiri, as weird as that sounds, and that might be a tad antithetical because it's like, oh, okay, well then, but Kiri doesn't really need a Brig level of peel. No, but you still have the value of having the Brig and the Kiri in your comp to enable Golden Pants, who is going to set up in the exact same spot that he sets up every single time he plays Runasapi, which is this roof exactly. Even if 0907 know that he's there, like, they can't really do anything about it. That being said, the X factor here is the Booga's there with the Matrix. Normally, Evil gets a nasty follow-up after that slam, and it's an immediate kill. However, the D.Va is going to stop that. Only once. You hit enough times, something's got to give.
So, we're seeing there just like the power of this Lucio ball engage. We're basically seeing a split come in real quick. You have this very brawly core of this very cast Juno that want to get up and close, play these longer fights, sustain their cast. Who is dead? As is their break, so 107 scarily close turning it around, but another slam should be able to finish it off. But they want to try and take their kind of positions to be able to shoot whoever Golden Pants and Evil hit, but also just, again, take their own kind of brawl and force all the recesses onto themselves. Because, like, by the time that Brawly Core gets onto 007, if 007 get their hit coming through with their own Diva hit, with their own Tracer hit, Quick Esports just are not able to survive if they're playing within that range. So they have the mobility to peel and pocket Fenris around and let him just dish out damage, into this 007 core. And they manage to get themselves an early lead. Golden Pants now is on the cart duty. Slam in, Suzu out as well. That's the first hit come through. But again, as long as Golden Pants lives here, they can get a hit coming back in oh so fast. And they have a Mines and a High Noon and a Pulse Bomb as well. Most of them only have their own Pulse Bomb right now, but they are rapidly building up to the rest.
007 are doing a pretty good job of dealing with these hits, however. But Booga knows when they're going to come out and just walks into Jacob's face. No respect to the break as you pop a Pulse Bomb onto him. Pressure ramps up now for Evil. You see that break's been stuck. It's my turn, but you have already been bullied out by the enemy Diva, and so you're going to have to, you know, lick your wounds and retreat. Only 30 meters gained here. 007 could take the lead here, but this game isn't going to be that well decided, or the odds aren't going to change that much until these forward spawns are capped up. Mines on the point. 007 do a very good job of disengaging from them, but that is free space for Quick Esports. 007 simply cannot fight into these mines for quite a while, but they're going to throw a Kitsu Rush through them anyway.
Pants just going to make it as disruptive as possible to use it, and they will honestly, they also still have their rally. They just have to invest it to really keep Jacob up on this Kitsune Rush. There's the investment behind as well. Jacob, though, he's on knee pockets. There's the orbital rate and response. Soaks does get caught, but Conde finds a headshot onto Evil, so now it's a man down from the side of Quick. No kills in the orbital rate either, and the car is still rolling towards that lead. Quick Esports do still have that lead. Slammer from Golden Pants with shield as well. He can stay around for a bit of time, but that said, he has to try and peel this backline somehow, trying to disrupt the Diva as much as possible. I think he even has the crit perk where he was just dishing out damage onto Booga, but it's not enough to stop the lead.
No, lead's going to come out for an 007, but of course it's not... The lead doesn't matter that much until we get to the forward spawn point. As I say that, however, 007 are encroaching onto it quite slowly. You can see just how intense the duel between Evil and Turbo Smooth is. Often that's going to be deciding these things. Another minefield for Golden Pants is really just farming as much damage as possible. Evil caught out in the corner means there's not going to be any follow-ups for the engages of the Wrecking Ball. However, they are forced into peculiar positions, and Condi caught out in one of them. It's so awkward for both of these teams right now. They both have tanks that cannot sit on the front lines for too long. And yeah, for lack of a better term, Booga does int there, happens to the best of us, but it does actually allow the forward spawns to come out for 0907. Even if the battle is won for Quick, as they do clean up in this fight, the war could be being firmly decided in favor of 0907.
Yeah, a lot of pressure is put on Friendless because a lot of resources are being pumped into them. And I mean, Evil has to play within the LOS of his Brig to get help. Well, so as we saw, able just to tag team across the map with Turbo to make his lives incredibly difficult. Conde is able to farm. We can't farm that many rails off of the ball, to be fair, so they still have that rail shot to combo with the dives. While Fenris has to get a lot closer in effective range, these longer lanes they're playing on right now really are not ideal for a Quick Esports comp. That said, they are closing distance. They are coming up on another orbital rate, and they have mines and
Speaking of farming, yeah, Gonpants has another minefield here because this guy is like running World War II or something. I have no idea. But that's going to be a very easy engage tool, even if you're not able to get kills out of it. Bam, this entire corner now free for your team to push through into. Condi on the side over here being pressured out. Seems like the peel is there. Turbo Smooth goes in with a pulse bomb, not able to get anything. 0907, they're utilizing the fact that they have a sound barrier and Quick Esports don't. Quick Esports do have an orbital ray, however, and that lasts just a smidge longer than the beat. Booga's going to fall at the end of proceedings here. Condi wants to bring it back with an overclock, but all of the members of Quick are just too slippery. They're just a bit too elusive, and the moment that they come in, Jacob snatched them into the jaws of the rally. You can see that it's Yeah, Booga and Doki caught out trying to engage there. Now the lead and the forward spawns are going to be taken up for Quick Esports. Condi only now going over to the Cass. It seems like a fairly late adaptation, to be honest, but better late than never because, you know, you need this. You need something to turn around for you. This is so close, and I think for a 907, this is very winnable.
Yeah, it is still all up in the air right now. It was rough. Quick had to spend so many ults there, but so does 907 in tow. Golden Pants, again, just balling out, trying to find some kind of pressure with just a tech. Slam out, just force out the cleanse, but he does exchange his shields for it. Evil and Coach gonna fall back here by the looks of it. They can't control that high ground, means they can't really see fight that corner. That said, they are trying to take this brawl up with this Cass. Playing around the inside there, and Evil dishing out damage. And he forced the cleanse out. It's a free pulse. He just throw it out. Almost catches himself there, but able to skirt away. And somehow Quick are still moving this point forward. A super aggressive push in there from the Cassidy. Just get punished in Golden Pants. Another minefield to throw in as well there. Finds 3 kills, and now Turbo Smooth, the lone survivor, running away from the Golden Pants, dishing out a 4K onto the rest of his team. And we're so close now, 100 meters. Quick now, building this momentum to seem almost unstoppable.
It's another advantage of the Wrecking Ball, which kind of goes, like, not unnoticed, but people don't realize the gravity of. Mines, they aren't the best ult in the game, but for how cheap they are and how quick you charge it, it's pretty good. What's even quicker that definitely helps you out is being able to simply remove the enemy brig from the game, which is what Doki is going to be doing. Has shown Flash of Brilliance on the flex port far and is able to get a very cheap fight win off the back of that one. I say that, and I'm just drawing attention to this again for more curiosity. Gonpants already has another minefield. He already has another minefield. This is stupid.
This is stupid. He's ready to dish it out whenever there's the, I mean, it's the Kitsune, but there's a minefield where they still need to use it. Rani be the first help they invest, however. I think that's Conde bouncing on the pad with the high move, trying to get high ground. Never mind, there's also a minefield,
and a minefield on the bouncy pad.
Jacob is full and evil. That's this. I mean, that's rough. But Pants still on his shenanigans, finding another trade. They're holding out this midpoint. Ace is only a moment away from death. They're going to steal the point. That said, spawns do favor LNS7 just barely. And Golden Pants has to give up this point soon. Never mind, his teammate. Oh, he forces the bomb with that crit perk. It's so strong. And it makes so much use of it, just spinning around the point.
It's genuinely silly. You get, like, especially if you can, you know, pull off like a little blender technique and you can just boop the enemy tank over and over again with like, what, like 100 damage per boop? Like, you're just ripping their health bar to shreds for no reason in particular. Turnbull into the frontline brawler, which he wanted to be, but they didn't let him on the moon base, unfortunately. Gonpants now going to be looking for another hit here. Hasn't even been fully in sync with Evil this entire time, but it's not particularly mattered.
Yeah, and this guy has just so much tech, like every spot on the map, you know, some way to make it into a whole world of her. That said, 27 still a minute to work with, and they've gotten this way back to this checkpoint here. Fenris does have a high noon, and guess what? Golden Pants has another minefield. That's the coast side, now that completely dead zone, as is Soaks, who somehow manages to wander himself into there. That said, trading your tank for that kill, not too great, but Evil was stealing the bot. So now 7, they can't walk on this ore anymore. They have to try and chase down this stolen bot. That's a big steal as well. It wasn't getting any more meterage. It means that the fast little rat that he is can get back into play in just a moment. And that fight is basically null and void for 7. They have to invest, maybe this high noon to clear the space. But again, it's Jacob that goes down first. Battle of the High Noons, Defense Matrix though will surely make Conde the victor there, so it means 7 can start this final crawl. It'll be an overtime situation if they can get back this lead.
Yeah, and I guess they have an option to do it. Kitsune Rush is going to be the one fight out. Booga's lost mech, haven't been able to get a bomb to get back into it. Something needs to happen now for 0907. They send the Kitsune Rush in, but Ace is right there with the response. Orbital Ray countered up by a sound barrier from Soaks as well, but that overhealth only lasts for so long, and you cannot get a single body off this point. Booga is able to get the mech back and actually take out Evil's pulse bomb. It's now traded 1-for-1 both these sides. Booga dies trying to drop the bomb to clear the space, and Quick Esports, they have just been able to do it. They've just been able to clinch this one back. Gonna win this series in 5 maps. You have to fight Vision now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the greatest reward to go and beat up or get beaten up by Violet. But Golden Pants filed what, like 7 minefields that fight, just insane. At the end there, Booga 94 to bomb just dies. We have both supporters available. Somehow Booga doesn't get the care he needs, and Golden Pants just wins it there. I mean, we know he's good at ball. What a surprise! Golden Pants wins his maps when he's on ball. But Quick Esports and i7 both made it a lot more interesting there than I think we all expected. So a map 5 banger to bring us gently in to face Vision Esports next up. I don't know how soon that's going to be, but I believe pretty soon, given the
sooner rather than later. How about
yes,
that?
yeah.
Yes.
That said, I mean...
Yes. So I put it like this. So what we're going to do briefly is we're going to talk about the current results, all right, of the brackets for anyone who wants to keep updated on it. So of course, Team Vision ended up beating out Wasp No. Wasp No forfeited as it seems, so Vision got their free entry into the upper bracket semi-finals because they needed more help for some reason. Quick Esports just beating out 0907 in a 5-map banger sends 0907 down to the lower bracket. Likely, I'm going to assume against Wasp No. Arius and Dreamlight are currently playing their map 5 on Gibraltar.
Another map 5.
Best of luck. I know, it's insane. I do wish both those teams the best of luck. An Anomaly beat Gas Tier 3 3-1, so they have gone down to lower bracket. They will be facing against the loser of Arius Dreamlight. The winner of that game will be going against Anomaly. We're going to go to a short break. When we are back, and we can't say exactly when that is, but just hold out for a hero, aka Natnif. Just hold out for a little bit, and we'll have Team Vision versus Quick Esports, a lay of the land, and a pretty big deal upper bracket semi-finals matchup. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back as soon as we know more about the game.
Yeah, and we...
welcome back. We have a match we have no time to explain. Vision versus Quick Esports, currently on the wrong side of affairs, but no real problem there. What can we say about Vision that haven't been said already? They have some of the kind of historically best players globally on their roster. They really are a dominant powerhouse. They did face off Quick Esports recently in this season, and it was a 3-0 win on the side of Vision. So if Quick Esports kind of have to dust that one off, Orisa and Lucio have been banned over on our first map of Oasis, so Quick have the opportunity to play their comfort comp, so to speak, as they try and get their initial hit in, but Golden Pants just gets absolutely blown up on the engage.
There's just so much damage from this Vision comp. But, you know, you can see the fear, you can smell the fear. I see you, Violet, with your name on, so you're scared that Ace of God is going to farm clips on you. That said, Fenris has been one clip in the spawn by Choice 1, so maybe I should save my words so when we get a fight win here and there. Which, you know, Quick Esports, an orthodox comp, at least currently. The Brig Zen historically with the ball, very, very strong, but getting onto this point into the face of all this damage, a double flex support lineup as well. Violet on the Ilaria Zol is well known for just so much damage to get through and sustain through. So Quick are also playing the slow fights with their Discord targets and getting Fenris set up in animations to help and shoot these slabs to come in from Golden Pants. But Vision Esports already have so many ults. Fenris is so low, has to get packed out to safety, but it's barely doing anything and not able to hit Choice 1 either. The recall has been forced and Jacob does take that first kill. That said, you do trade your Zen for it. And your Tracer as well. Nice shot from...
Yeah, like, we talk a lot about the known elements of Vision, but we can talk about Slowdive for a sec, who's kind of one of the only players alongside One who has been on Vision since day one, since they've recently been playing, especially in their first stage of LCS during relegation, and of course during this FACEIT season where they're seeking to get back in, and is truly nuts on the hit scan. Definitely still... up and coming, but is a real prospect to be looking out for. Speaking of looking out for, you gotta look out for this Deadeye. Vision Esports have so many ults to work with. Slowdive almost beefs it into the mines, but is going to stay fine for now. 90% on the point that Vision have. Quick just don't seem to be able to force their way in. Yes, they're able to get, you know, high ground positioning, but once they have it, they actually have to get onto the point, and that seems to be their main struggle.
Yeah, I mean, you have to slam into a small room as an Alario and a Hazard onto Jacob. He's more than dead to these. Golden Pants, a sliver of HP, all the way down to 0. Violet takes 100 to 0 on this first point. And yeah, this is the quality that Vision Esports are expected to pump out. Quick here, it is going to be a Sisyphean effort to get up this hill. And yes, Golden Pants might be a pretty mobile boulder, but it's still going to be a hell of a lot of effort as well. Even though you ban the Orisa, Quick expend that ban as we see them do a lot on Oasis here. You are just going to see Tam move over onto the Hazard. With Jacob in, the Brick versus Hazard, not a super nice and comfy matchup for that team. Ace as well moving over onto the Islands, the more punishing, and some big nades here could really open up hits for Golden Pants and co. More higher ground as well for them to work with, and a lot of maneuverability of ball on these like little roof areas. That said, Vision Esports don't broke, you know, looking to fix it, and then we're walking out on this again. Immense damage composition, so much individual pressure potential from all of these characters. Point yet to unlock, so Quick Esports have to try and find a way to hold onto this space and also not let Vision get into these little enclosed areas for free, because when they get in there, they're so hard to shake loose.
The exact strength of Vision. Put your backs against the wall, eventually you're forced to just fight right into it. Slowdive getting the better of Golden Pants in that exchange. That cast flash can immediately disrupt the movement of the ball, get rid of all the momentum, and just make them a sitting duck of a target. Now in a 4v5 situation, Vision Esports, they can take their time here. See Jacob and Ace just bunkered up in this corner, desperately trying to remain alive. Golden Pants is able to get back in, so 5v5 now back. Fenris falling lower and lower. Needs healing immediately, but unfortunately it just doesn't seem like that heal can come through in time.
Yeah, they're just stuck on this high ground, not able to get hit coming through, getting whipped around by all angles. One going super aggro. Nate has come out on Choice in one, but able to just barely skirt away there. Those last few pixels, oh so resilient. But Ace does take him out, hunting him down. Evil trades his life though. Violet able to find that kill there. and Tam are able to take out the rest of the backline with the help of one. Vision Esports already capping here up to 50%. And Quick Esports don't have a single ult to their name just yet. Well, one already has this window. Violet with the Ilario as well, and the High Noon coming up too. Quick Esports have to do a lot of work here. Again, it'll be another quick Mines coming, then probably like a Nano to open things up to try and sustain, but this has to be do or die here for Quick. If they expend ults here, they have to win here. Otherwise, Vision will just win that later fight. That recontest will not be pretty.
Yeah, and like they're trying to get him, but every angle is covered. And this is kind of a difference of vision between a lot of teams. The top teams like Vision are going to be playing more about angles and controlling them. Golden Pants, however, takes their own angle onto Slow Dive, wins it outright. Ults are going to be thrown in here. It is going to be Violet getting the pick onto Fenris, while Golden Pants is trying to do some absolute heroics right here. And points actually been flipped for the side of Quick Esports. Vision, again, they just back themselves up. You somehow find your way into Jacob's crosshairs, which is odd as a Baptiste into a Brig, but pop off, I guess. Choice one able to trade out onto Evil and able to get the follow-up onto Golden Pants as well. So yes, Quick was able to flip the point for a little while, but 20% is just, you know, a drop in the entire pond that is Vision's progress right now.
Yeah, I mean, even though Vision Esports have all the tools for the dives, they're not letting a single good dive come through. They know the power of Esports if they can actually on the nade, the hit, and everything. But Ace is already gone. No one might on the point. Overtime's been triggered, and no one can touch. Rally is cosmetic at 200-0, and Vision Esports take map number 1. I mean, they never let them breathe. They never let them touch the point. They're talking smack as well. We have a rough game on our hands here.
Yeah. Some things never change, and apparently it appeared that there was no warm-up actually required for the members of... There was no warm-up required for Vision Esports. Of course, they didn't get their... They didn't get their warm-up potential by playing against Wasp. Oh no. Basically, they looked at their schedule and it was like, oh, we have 2 ball teams in a row. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Now, Quick, they're back to a bit of up against a wall. Control is gone. Obviously, the ball ban is still very much in the back pocket of Vision. Quick are going to get the first pick and ban here. But ultimately, I'm not entirely sure what they can go with here. Suravasa, it is their best shout, to be honest. Suravasa as a flashpoint is a great map for the Wrecking Ball. For the Brig Zen backline style, that works out as well. They can also maybe protect some of those picks. What they might want to do, honestly, is get rid of the Alari. And I know how strange that sounds, because like Alari on Flashpoint, what are you smoking? I'm not going to answer. Point is, it's a struggle for Quick to just deal with the sheer impact that Violet has on the lobby. In turn, by choosing the support ban, they get to protect the Brig Zen effect. However, that does then leave the Wrecking Ball bannable for Vision. So instead, Quick are actually going to ban Hazard first so they can protect their tank pick of the Wrecking Ball. I can only assume that Vision are going to ban the Brig and or the Zen here.
Yeah, I mean, I do... If Jacob is sticking in and makes it to ban the Hazard, again, that matchup, not favourable. That slash isn't really mitigated that much by the whip shot, and able to hunt it down with the walls as well. I mean, the Alari ban, I can see it there too if it ends up being the case later down the line, because all the 3 Alari players in rank just had the divine message to log in and start running it down the games, because Violet makes that hero look giga busted. And I mean, also, if you ban Violet's Alari, it's still Violet. You can't particularly ban that many people on the side.
Can we change the Facebook so we can ban
Violet? Just get Animo in instead. Violet's out for one. Put Alba in, you know? Like, they banned Tracer. Okay. I mean, Evil has it as a compliment, I would say. Choice A1 versus Evil, not a matchup I imagined ever seeing on my screen, but Evil, you know, tried his best. I was expecting...
To me, it just indicates that Quick are going to double down on Bapalari. Sure, they can't play Hazard, but they can play Orisa now, and Tama is more than capable of playing that Orisa.
Yeah.
They know there's going to be a Wrecking Ball, but there's not going to be a Tracer follow-up, so they don't really care. One ball isn't really the problem, you know. A backline can deal with one Wrecking Ball. It's when you add in things like a Tracer, Arna nades, possibly Brig armor packs, a hit scan as well, who now has, free sightline onto you because of all the space that's been taken by the traceable combination. You can cut out the middleman of that by just banning the tracer, and then suddenly those hits from the ball get a lot less impact, and then it's like one slam that you can heal up with like a single use of BAP shift, and then no one else is particularly threatened, and it's like, okay, cool, now what?
Yeah, and because typically then with the tracer you can get those fast hits, whittle away before they get to point, and then have the impact. But now Evil goes Genji maybe, but again that's a lot more of a risk when you're actually hitting the engagements, because if you dash in and you get nothing out, that's it. You kind of just can poke away. Maybe we see a Sombra come into play. Maybe it does really limit your options to play with this Bull. Rory also not going to be in the lineup, so it is going to be Bull that they are choosing to play here. Jacob sticking in as well. Again, going to signal that Brig Zen likely for me, which has put a lot of pressure on to make those Bull hits a lot more lethal. Still, again, Quick need to get some kind of grasp on this tempo. It's just swinging out of their hands, tick-tocking back and forth. They cannot catch their breath. They cannot get anything really of a semblance of a cohesive hit together. So they need to find a way to wrestle themselves back into the eye of the storm, to get their own hits, get their own kind of chaos they can thrive into. Because otherwise, Vision are just going to run away with it.
And tempo is like just kind of the best way to describe it. Confidence as well. No one was really doubting Vision's confidence coming into this. They would be fools to not think that they are the best. They've gone 15-0. They've barely lost maps.
I think
you know what I mean.
The only maps they lost, I might have to be corrected here, were 2 maps to Super Shy when they were on off rolls. Which is still, in its own sense, impressive for Super Shy, but I might have to get a fact check on that. I know they lost at least 2 maps Super Shy on off rolls, but yeah, they are the shoo-ins for the promotion and relegation bracket here. But it is still up in the air for the rest, and having a good performance against Vision means more of that confidence, more momentum going into face. Maybe Arius, maybe to maybe squeeze into that second spot, but you still also have to try and do your best here, because an upset here would be revolutionary. People were screaming it from the rooftops if, Jacob is beating out Violet in this kind of head-to-head. And no shade to Jacob, it's just, incredible player, champ as well in his own right, but it is just a different league, so it would be taking a map, taking fights, still super important for the Quick
do you
team.
Do you want an evil son or choicer one daughter? I think that's kind of the question that we're looking at. Yeah. 15-0 already sort of earmarked to get into the next stage. Possibly qualify for Stockholm. That would be that'd be a kind of wild stretch for Team Vision.
Their best option is LCQ, which would be against Falcons, and Falcons are getting their plot armor, Queen, and Diva buffs.
I'm talking more for Stockholm, right?
Oh, for Stockholm? Oh, yeah, maybe Stockholm. Then you're right. I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't quite think. Yeah, I don't quite think we're getting there. But also just a quick update of everything that's going on in the background. Dreamlight beat Arius. Arius have already been knocked at it. Yeah, I mean. That's ridiculous. I don't know what more to say.
Okay, I just opened Twitter to see anything, and I can't. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, that was a 2-3 loss to Dreamlight, very unexpected. Yo, Violet ain't you the guy from Korea, Jacob? You might be onto something there, just maybe.
What one of them? One of the guys from Korea.
There is 2 of them there. I'm sure Violet cooking up a lovely response to Jacob and being very sportsmanship-like.
All business right now.
All business.
And it seems like with the Tracer ban, the both teams are just going to play Sombra anyway. What is the most Tracer-esque character that we can get? Because that's kind of what they've been practicing with, and they're going to go over to Sombra. Golden Pants tries to get the hit through onto one. One simply ignores it and moves on with his day. As if nothing ever happened. Must have been the wind. Vision are going to, on account of their Orisa, they're going to be able to take first cap because Tama is much more able to easily park himself on the point than someone like Golden Pants is.
Oh no!
Jacob also slowly gets hounded down. That was a virus from downtown alongside just like alongside just Tama damage, and Jacob just kind of falls over, lack of a better term.
And as well, like, Jacob just had a very difficult time here, like, into the comp. Like, the only person you can easily repel with a dive is Sombra, but you never, like, it's not even super necessary. Meanwhile, this Bat Ilari, able to just constantly output damage, constantly output healing. Meanwhile, this poor Briggs Edge just sit on the sideline, throwing a couple orbs away. The Discord onto the Orisa, like, the Violet has been hacked up. Captain Sun, though, clears him away, lamp expended, bursted by the boulder shot. There's the connection onto Fenris, so all eyes on Golden Pants trying to come to the rescue, just taking more and more damage. They can't reset, there's not enough healing to get anything through. One has been jumped on, but all the damage, all the kills coming at once. Vision Esports, only Golden Pants and Ace to clear off there. Ace is running for the hills, gets hounded down by Choice A1, and that's almost certainly the first point going the way of Vision.
And that is a lesson in how you can counter a dive before it's even begun. And that is just sheer overwhelming damage, right? You could see the amount of pressure being exerted as Violet just magically falls over on their way to the point there. Evil just
got both the Koreans. Okay, Evil is the Korean kryptonite.
Is that how we're referring to? Okay,
I mean, sorry, both the Overwatch League, you know, super. Jacob is just having the time of his life, but Evil.
Both the LCS prospects. Yes, both the LCS prospects. I was going to say that off the back of that, should be pretty simple for Quick to get the point. Instead, Evil, again, comes back with some heroics and gets an EMP to find onto both backliners, but Vision able to utilize their ultimates on the point. Rather a lot of them, however. It did have to be both Choice One using their own EMP, I believe a slow dive bowler, Violet, everything. Why am I listing off one by one? I think Vision did have to use everything to hold onto that. Yeah. So Quick have a distinct advantage in the next fight with both support ult and the mines to cover up this point. They shouldn't have a problem on this point accessing the backliners and laying a minefield on top of them. No, but they might have an issue walking. They might have an issue walking into it. How about that?
This Freya is just putting so much damage, and Jacob and Ace can only, you know, peel so much. There's never a hit coming through. They're just getting hounded down all the angles. Space is given for free. The simple EMEA mindset cannot understand this, and Jacob is bashing at the Orisa, has the rally. All sites are currently on the rest of the minefield, trying to split him off as well, disco onto him as well, but no kills to come through. Slam onto one. Is there any follow-up? No, of course there is. The entire team is being hounded away, but Tala, though, has been isolated. All eyes were on him in the meantime. One was just a distraction. My simple EMEA mind was fooled, and that's the first fight win for Quick. They have percentage on the board.
Well, Quick have won a fight. I guess the simple EMEA mind can take one singular fight, it appears. But no, that was really good. You said there was no follow-up, but Evil had actually gotten themselves into a nice position just to kind of tickle the Vision backline while Golden Pants was in. Now it's going to have the ability to dictate these engages, plus Ace can play these longer sightlines and try and utilize the range damage and the Discord. And you always have the Transcendence in your back pocket as well if things get dicey. Fenris has been mind-controlled again, and Quick haven't even used any ultimates to lose two.
Vision just walked a point without losing really any significant resources. They're investing the trance for something. I don't know how you turn this around. They're investing the rally as well. Discord will force out the translocator, but the point... Oh, no. Oh, no.
Wait.
No, Tama, stop. Tama, stop. Stop the Tama. This is... That's rough. Okay, well, it's fine. Snowball idea. Quick, they got their first fight win, now it's their first point win. That's just how the maths works. Ignore the almost five ultimates the Vision needs. Maybe like 3 that Quick have. Yes. All good.
Especially the Choice One EMP, which could just like win it in one Q press. You know what I mean? It seems like Quick are going to take, you know, maybe better early positioning on this point. The Wrecking Ball, of course, having a lot more mobility to be able to set up in a decent position there. It's going to be on Vision to engage, mirror out, utilizing this Orisa. Really nice slam, looks like onto the back line, but the members of Vision were able to get out. Then an EMP comes in, one's been assassinated. Is Choice One going to utilize their own? You have a possibility here, but no, Golden Pants gets into the exchange there. Fenris also used an overclock from downtown. Quick Esports, they take phone control at the point, but their odds of staying in this one don't look good when you look at these old banks.
Yeah, I mean, like, you need to hit Vision as often as possible before then get to the point. You can see Golden Pan just being spam marked out, but not able to get a consistent hit in. They do have the minefield, but Vision are going to get to this point pretty smoothly with 4 ults of their own. So they're now on the Cassie as well. There's the E out onto the minefield too. Golden Pants just disintegrates. They windowed the poor man as well. Tama is falling low. The point held on them for 46%, but rest of Quick have to scatter to the wind and try and regroup. They do get, what, two pretty important ults out there, to be fair.
Yeah, an EMP in a window, sure. I'm just thinking how awful this point is going to be to attack. What sightlines does Ace have? What sightlines does Fenris have?
Oh,
None.
no.
What sightline does Golden Pants have? The spawn room sightlines, clearly. I mean, I can throw any analysis about sightlines out the window because it seems that Quick Esports just being barrel stuffed back into their own spawn. Not even their own spawn room,
They're
just
still going.
random portions of the map. Jacob is forced to rally in a 3v5 situation, Transcendence as well. Sometimes a team can fly a bit too close to the sun, and Violet's sun might be shining bright, but not for much longer in this extended fight.
Yeah, he just was the Icarus in that fight. Just investing, I mean, the Captive Sun and the Terra Surge, you get both support ults out, but I mean, it's possible if Quick can take again an early fight here. Vision Esports have no ultimates, just have a high noon to clear point. They are coming up to another EMP. Evil is just a bit ahead on that race to the ult charge, trying to find anything. The virus should get in there, but Slam in catches Violet. Even in the midst of all that peel, all that damage, Golden Pants able to get away with murder there, and now Vision Esports has to clutch up here, down there, Elari, Horus, Choice One also hunted out by Fenris there, had a bit of a slow start to this game, making up for it, more than certainly able to that. Tama hacked up as well, and I'm not gonna, there we go, okay, I was not gonna call it and happen, I'm jinxing. Fine, we get a point on the board, a flash point.
Yeah, whether by the ability of Quick or the avarice of Vision, Quick Esports were able to get themselves on the board in Flashpoint here. Evil will have the EMP, and I keep talking about it cheating the ult economy, because obviously, yeah, one team can have 5 ultimates, a well-timed EMP can perfectly counter all of that, right? Yeah. So Quick Esports, especially with their comp, which wants to go first against what Vision has, I want them to use this EMP aggressively when Golden Pants is set up in a position to slam, and it should be free as day for them. Yeah, in this small room, they only get 2, but that's all that you really need. Take the enemy, you're able to take the enemy Sombra out of proceedings there, interrupt Slowdive's ultimate, and take him down as well. Vision are going to be forced off this point briefly, and they're going to only gain a flickering few percentage.
Cinema. Absolute cinema. Who wins? Coughing Baby Hydrogen Bomb. Coughing Baby has what, like, some kind of deadly disease here, because Vision are struggling now. They've lost, you know, a 3rd fight in a row. Evil Benny gets out with his life here, and they still have their, you know, own EMP to walk into, but Esports double support ults. Fenris going really early with his overclock. All the destructibles are now broken to Vision, but they can't push in super aggressive. Still one more shot for Fenris, but not able to make the most of it. Tama coming back with this Terror Touch. Violet Captive Sun, all the tools available. It's going to be on this mine to see if they can get anything, and the support ults if they can withstand the storm approaching. There's the first one out. Slowdive, I saw also one on a sliver of HP, but unfortunately, the HP bar is far more quickly depleting from the side of Quick Esports. That said, 3 ults out for just 2, and that being Minefield as well. It's like half of one. Not too shabby, not too bad, and you can come back in soon enough with a Transcendence, which, you know, not super strong, but also Evil close to another EMP.
Transcendence to allow Quick to get a really long sustained engage on this point. Also can be used relatively freely because Choice One did just kind of toss out the EMP in an already won fight at the end of that one. That being said, it seems very much like Quick have had their engage scouted, and you can just barely, actually, you do get to that Mega
What?
if you're Corn Pants, and you take out Choice 1 as well, so you have a moment to, you know, rest up here, and now you're able to go in rather aggressively. Terra Surge here from Tama, but Ace going to be able to utilize the Transcendence in this one to allow the rest of the team to continue walking. They get positioning on the point, do the members of Quick Esports, and they should be fine, especially because Evil does have this EMP, is going to hit Tama with it, and no one else, who is already fortified up and completely fine. Oh, no, no, no.
Fenris,
Evil.
Fenris kill 5. Fenris kill 5. Oh, Fenris is dead. It was so there. It was right in their grasp, but Evil gets caught out, forced to panic EMP to try and kill Tama, who has them dead to rights, and Vision Esports go up 2-0. Yes, Quick do fight back a bit more there, but that was close. That was so close. It's not just Copium. Look, Jacob gets play of the game. That must mean something.
Jacob got the play of the game when all of Vision followed them into a spot where no fight should have taken.
Yeah, it was... you know, it's still play of the game versus Vision. Good job, Jake.
A win is a win. A win is a win.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And we did actually see some kill. We saw some fight wins. And even though it sounds like Opium, again, the caliber of this Vision roster is notable. Quick Esports, these are a team of relatively all young players, inexperienced players by most accounts. Mostly just like ranked demons piling in together here and playing against, like you said earlier, some of the world's best. It is just honestly very impressive here, and unfortunately we'll be going... Wait a minute, no, it's loser's pick, right? I need to change how I respond to this. Okay, they're taking us back to Circuit! Quicker taking us back to Circuit. We genuinely might see Golden Pants versus Violet on Alari.
Yeah. Who would win this, like, multiple-time Overwatch League champion, considered to be like maybe the best of all time, versus some kid named Golden Pants? Who knows? Who knows? Actually, it's a complete toss-up. But yeah, this is the world that we live in, and I like how that's kind of how you can sum up FACEIT, right? You know, it's a bunch of like up and coming, like, you know, like B tier flirting with the A and S tier talent. I think teams like, you know, teams like Arius, teams like Anomaly, like Gas Tier 3, Dreamlight, Quick, and then you have Vision for just because. And then it's like, okay, cool, man.
Yeah. That being said, you know, we have seen a few of these teams, especially like more. Maybe it's easy to say the players individually that have risen up through the ranks. I mean, Alba, Tama, both of them were kind of considered to be those flirty B and A tier players, but now they are on the tier roster. And again, we've seen with the previous Quick roster, they were kind of the underdogs, and they had a really, you know, impressive performance, especially at the start of that season, for being upsets. And yes, that's a big shoe to fill here, but Quick, they are looking to try and prove themselves, and they do ban the Alari, so they're not insane. But then I don't know why we're going here. Maybe it's just the Rory train, you know? Like, it's just we're all in on Rory. Rory is in, Garu, Whitebeard is in, and Ace is. Okay, so it will be a different look, to say the least.
Well, just a fun thing with what we were talking about, of like Team Vision. Like, yeah, there are a couple of pieces on their team who are like those up and comers. We can't just say that they are exclusively like, you know, old established talent. You know, players like, again, Alba, Tama, Slowdive as well. Yeah. But also but also, just to put it in perspective, they also have Donghun on the roster, who's just chilling in the background.
I believe that's for ESL.
They also had Taejong and Simple.
Yes, this is
Simple who is now currently playing for Twisted Minds.
You can say there is a certain pattern with these kind of orgs, and just buying immense Korean talent and try and
a win is a win. Hey, look, they're allowed to. They're allowed to buy an insane.
In my opinion, Golden Pants wins. It's just really...
What do you mean? In your opinion, he wins? Like, it's not an opinion. It'll be he wins or he doesn't, right?
I'm with Luau. I believe in God. Even though Golden Pants is not this upcoming map. Sig banned as well. I believe that's from Vision, because why would you ban Violet Alari? So we're gonna see probably the Ram or the Orisa mirror come out here.
Yeah. I mean, we
mean,
did see Quick in the last match against 0907. We saw an attempt to play the Sigma by it was Rory for Quick, and it just got completely exploited. And that kind of shows that when you have I think it was explained quite well to me. It was kind of ever since the introduction of Juno, because like yes, Lucio could always speed before, but like Lucio couldn't really do a ton against the Sig, right? Now you have a character with the speed in Juno, with some range on her as well, so can actually stay safe, doesn't have to get involved in the proceedings. Like, the Juno has kind of shut down the ability of Sigma to be the strongest pick on circuit anymore, at least at the highest level.
Especially
play Sigma if you want.
Even with the like Juno Brig is also very good into the Sigma, just because the Sig Sig can just 1v1. Oh, sorry, Brig can just 1v1 Sig and win that, unironically. So that is an option here as well. Maybe we see some Juno. Maybe we see Bap Zen. Maybe we see, there's a whole host we could see there. Hopefully not Tama Bull, but I expect to see again that much slower style from Quick, because I don't know though. It didn't work against 007. Is it going to work? Some changes, to say the least. Bap Lucio coming out. The Genji with the Orisa. So not as slow, but a lot more brawly, a lot more together. Vision, I mean, we can't come on Vision at the moment. They're just in the attacker's spawn. But I think I like this look quite a bit more for Quick. It's a lot more aligned. Wait, Vision are attacking. I'm going insane.
Vision,
I do like Quick's look a bit more.
No, Vision are defending.
Okay, sorry, Vision one walking out spawn.
It's okay. We'll get you in the Dementia Ward sooner rather than later.
Bro, I'm 19. It's so over.
That makes you older than like half the players in this lobby.
It does. I'm like Golden Pants like 17 or something. Just
I'm 22. How do you think I feel, dude? It's so over. I'm just an old kid. Regardless, Quick. Interesting here. They're playing the Lucio with the Bat here. I think maybe I'd slightly prefer the Juno, but I still see the Vision here. And also, here's a question: what can Lucio offer? I guess that Juno can't. At least on Vision.
I mean, like, you have more, I guess, damage. Your beat is also a defensive ult rather than what the double offensive ult Division have. You're able to support your DPS on angles a lot more, endure on those kind of plays and have there. You will have less sustain, although again that buff does kind of slightly lower that gap. That said, Lamp is already out from Ace, out from both sides here. The fight is kind of in full force, brawling there, but in the middle of the clash, they kind of bounce to both of their sides and reset. Ace almost taken out there from the mean side, but yeah, this kind of hit from the Lucio Genji is a lot more effective than like what a Juno sim could do. They're not playing for that. If Fenris actually takes out Choice someone on the sim, it could really open things up. Like assuming no trades come through. Speedring also out here as well, and Ace has the window to take this corner with.
Yeah, sim has been proving to be quite popular recently. Not something traditionally within Choice One's playbook, but that's just because most like CPS players haven't had to learn sim for quite a while. Tama pops the ult right in front of the window and gets immediately evaporated from the game. So Quick Esports actually get a relatively fast attack there. Plus, one invested a window. Flowdive invests a bowler shot into proceedings, and you get the kills, but points been capped anyway, so this doesn't really mean anything for Quick Esports. You haven't slowed their advance at all.
Yeah, everyone needs to watch out, because Quick Esports just absolutely, I don't even know what happened there. They just robbed themselves of things. They're just genuinely baffled of words. They still have two very powerful, this Symbol and this Orisa, and this Orbital Ray, because we have their Terror Surge combo, which they're employing right now. I'm going to take out the Sim even in the midst of her wall, even though doing their best to not get traded out. But we have to sustain. They have to watch out for Vision's turn now. They have some more to play with. Another set of torpedoes ready to rock with Violet, looking to try and confirm some kind of kill. So much pressure and damage, and Tama able to take down Rory with the help of those torpedoes. One as well, even though Quick get the initial hit, get their initial successful combo, Vision Esports are able to sustain and win it through. That said, Ace does find the gap onto one, but it's only going to be one kind of meaningless trade there. Two, as Fenris takes.
Yeah, and they're going to be spawned at the same time as well, so it's not going to be particularly impactful. Here's Mental Quick are only just leaving their spawn room now. Even despite that first pick, it just never felt like Quick had the opportunity to breathe, right? Evil had already used all of the dashes, and therefore there was nothing that could really pressure out the backline. Violet was in a really free position to use those torpedoes and then just slowly gun down Rory, who didn't have any cover to work with either. Now Vision have beefed up their ult bank again. Overclock comes out from Fenris in all the proceedings here, but that is a brutal combination. The Terror Surge, along with the bowler shot, comes through. Even if the bowler doesn't get any kills and it just has to destroy an immortality field, that damage is still brutal.
Yeah. And in a ton of events as well, we have kind of ironically seen Quick now. They are the combination that needs to go fast. A long fight will favor Vision with this double flexible backline, with the sim with tier 3 beam, with the slow dive kind of peppering from above. Fenris has to get a quick rail shot. There has to be an engagement here from Evil and Whitebeard and a spear from Rory, because again, long fights will just be Vision's playground. So we're also going to be walking into a double support ult situation here from Vision, and Quick only have one. 70% to another Blade here, but Naked and Afraid is what that Blade is going to be if it ever even comes out. The beat does come out online successfully, but it's Juno Ray is going to make it difficult. That said, a great flick from Quick. They take the complete other side of the map. You can see the impact of that Lucio trying to hunt down one there at the end. He will stagger himself there a bit, but Whitebeard does get traded. Now it's going to be Ace trying to live on point, but he's been traded out as well. That gets things a whole lot more messy. Rory does have a Terror Surge, shouldn't have to invest it though. The Mega Pack onto Tama is going to be a lot closer than it should be. And there's still the 7 high ground, and Violet's killed Fenris. Okay.
The problem we have is this is really clever play from Quick. The map flip was perfect there. They played their macro perfectly, but the micro, not quite. Sometimes you just can't match up to that in the moment. It is a shooter at the end of the day. You click them on their head harder than they click on yours, and they die. And unfortunately, Vision, really, really good at clicking on the heads of the members of Quick, especially with a window to aid that. Quick have the wherewithal to leave, however, so they can possibly bounce back with their own window.
Yeah, Rory is just... There's so much damage onto him. I think the shield perk as well is questionable, but now there's another shield in his face. They do have the ones to play with, but Fenris not to do that much, and Tama just pummeling into Rory at the moment. That's as Fenris threads the needle there with the help of the window onto Violet. That's a big kill. Gonna force out a response here. Evil with the blade though, gonna find something. Isn't extra my slow dive, and Tama gets a big trade. Fenris though will snuff out any attempt at clutch, hopefully, but there are still 2 members alive for Vision. I think Violet is getting into the fray. Someone's touch it. It's going to be Violet that steps up, chopping block. Able to get the kill well.
And Violet did as well. Oh, wait, wait.
Wait a
minute. I guess so. Rory, Rory doing the best Gold Pants impression, goes over to the ball to try and touch this point, but I think it's just been a little too late. You had maybe one pick that didn't go your way, one ult that wasn't used perfectly, and Quick suffer for it. Vision have the better spawns. Yeah, there's 10 seconds. You have to stick on this. You're playing ball on circuit, my man. You are not golden pants, little bro. Violet's going to have an orbital ready to run into as well. Fenris
has to kill
Evil gets onto slow dive, can try and clutch this one up, especially if you have just pump damage into Tom, which has been happening for the time being. But now there's an orbital ray. What are you going to do about that? Survive? Against Vision? Are you kidding me? Of course you're not going to be able to do that one. All of the picks go in their way, all of the time, all of the resources, everything that they can muster. Quick going to get stopped just shy of the 2nd point.
Yeah, there were so many glimpses, so many flashes of excitement and brilliance there from Quick, but Vision just snuffed them out one by one like an evil Disney cartoon villain. And I mean, it's that last fight. They had to win it then there. The beat was just a second too late. Rory back on the ball, couldn't make anything happen. The spawns, plus the sim TPs, plus the Juno rings make that contest so much easier for Vision as well, considering just the regular spawn advantage. And so Quick, they do look better on this kind of more speedy comp. Rory, you know, is matching up into Tama decently well. I mean, people, have had their doubts about Rory, but I think, showing they can still try and make this a contention here. And that basically is a 2-point cap, to be fair to them. The one on the right side is not as fair as it should be. That said, what is... Oh, what bit is taxing evil? Okay. Vision, though, going to be inspired a bit here. We're going to see the Violet Lucio by the looks of it. And more of a mirror here. The only difference is going to be the beam characters going to be Mei for Quick Esports and Sim again for the side of Vision. I don't think Mei is in the greatest at the moment. Maybe into the Ram better than into the Orisa, but the Sim offers just so much versatility, so much surprise, so much extra depth of layer to your engagements. But Quick, I'm trying to do... Okay, I thought we were going to try and do like some kind of GK-inspired spawn hold, but no, it's just going to be a little bit of a trick shot off the high ground.
Yeah. Trying to get all of that work in right now, and we see Tama going over to the Ram. Very popular choice.
1DC! Surely.
No, I think one's actually chilling right now. One probably just lagged
He
out.
is fully competent and able to play Vision
no.
Esports. Vision Esports do not pause. It's fine. It's fine. No,
No, he was just like
no,
he was just typing. He was just typing P the entire time. Okay, there we go. Alright.
Okay,
We have a moment of
yeah.
respite. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you mean about the Mei and the Sim. They both do kind of the same jobs, which is they have really good frontline pressure. They have some decent survivability. But the Sim kind of offers you a bit more of everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
sure, the one thing that you don't have is as much health, but you're still pretty damn tanky on Sim. I believe Sim's, what, 275? So you're feeling
Something like
alright.
that. Especially when you get those major perks going. Like, you just have the constant healing from the TP, and... I mean, the main difference is just, like, the wall, and I guess the mate has, like, a bit better poke if you hit headshot, and the ults are different, but I think Sim, like, is one of the best in the game, and again, that TP, like, we've seen it be so strong just anywhere in Circuit when it's so flat, and when Vision have more than enough macro knowledge to make those flips work all the way in their favor, it's going to be difficult for Evil to match the value, especially because it didn't look that great. We saw a lot of it swapping quite quickly versus 007. But yeah, maybe I don't know. You are playing a dangerous game, I think, on the Mei, and Evil did look good on the Genji, to be fair, and the Tracer, but it's a precarious look, to say.
Yeah, they're definitely precarious, I would agree. I'm having a brief look at what's happening elsewhere in the world of FACEIT, and it appears that Wasp have in fact just bowed out the entire tournament. They forfeited their game against 0907 as well, so we have our first official elimination from the top 8, which is going to be Wasp Ono. They're going to take $500, so like $100 per player-ish.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's big
crazy,
bucks. This is the Ice Soup Esports. That's but it's surprising. I think because Wasp, a middling team in terms of placements, but still, have a bit of an expect. They especially just barely squeaked in one of the 9-6 teams in the 8th seed. Dreamlight, I guess, also on a surprise run, upsetting the 2nd seed, being that 7th place. Gas Tier 3, I think, lost to Anomaly 3-1, which is the expected
not unexpected. Not unexpected.
Yeah.
Anomaly have done very, very well for themselves thus far in this tournament. In addition to that, Arius and Gas Tier 2 are currently playing. It's 1-1, oddly enough. A 2-0 for Gas Tier 3 on
Really?
and a 3-1 for Arius on Surabasa. Now gone over to Circuit, which Gas Tier 3, that's really one of their better maps. So I am particularly confused as to Arius' spaghetti and where it's all been spilled. If I do not see Volta in LCS dipping Funny Astro, then I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, Arius, I think, one of the top 3 favorites to make it into that promotion bracket, but this is rough. Like, this is a team that, you need to be stomping everyone but Team Vision, and they were kind of doing that in the regular season, only losing Team Vision. Let me check that before I spread lies and misinformation. Yes.
It's the favorite pastime of us.
It is. But yeah, losing to Dreamlight in a 3-2. They had their rocky moments at the start of the season. They had a rough 3-2 versus 0907, but going 1-1 versus Gas 3 again is what is going on over there? Believe the pause. This is the second pause about to run out for Vision Esports. I believe for their entire match that's about to run out in 7 seconds. So I have to see what happens after that. Maybe the match will be paused, prolonged even longer, but I guess we can find out. Match has been resumed apparently. But I don't know if that means the game's been on pause. I'm assuming not. Oh, I guess we are. Oh, never mind. Another pause. Match is still a pause going through.
We don't know, to be honest. We don't know. We pretend like we know what we're talking about, but no, we don't. While we're here, I guess we can shout out our sponsors. So Hummel, Gamerpad, and Network Specialisten are supporting the stream, and we thank them very much for their sponsorship and continued support of Quick Esports. So do go check them out when you have the time to do so. In the meantime, still the match currently being paused. So we just have all the time in the world to kill. All the time with us. Isn't that great?
True.
Snapnip, we have so much time together.
For some. I would love to, show off the eye candy of the fancy pantsy Quick Esports jersey from Hummel. But unfortunately, I have anthropomorphized into a dog and it doesn't really fit me, no matter how much I've tried. A very wide dog, said the least. But we are going back in, so unfortunately for you guys, you'll get back into the actual meat and potatoes of the stream. We are playing a 45. Tamet
died.
Never mind. Okay, Tamet. I believe they're both back apparently. That's it. The pause has come through, and I believe that will mean that the pause will have to be played through. One just died apparently. That feels like you might need more than a minute to fix that one, Tama, but I'll trust you on that.
Well, Whitebeard also.
When you have Violet on support, I mean, maybe he can genuinely just revive people in real life at this point. Wouldn't be surprised.
Is that the level of support gameplay that like the top mercy players just learn how to actually resuscitate people?
Yeah. I've seen like 4 mercy players at Stockholm just like point at someone and like slowly float towards them. That's just how it works. I don't know how you missed it.
How much did you drink in Stockholm?
not at all, actually. But, which is crazy considering the UK uni scene's reputation. But Tamara and 1 are back in, by the looks of it. Bit of a slow there, but not too much time off the clock considering all things. And 1 seems to have regained consciousness and motor function by the looks of it.
Yeah, generally helps, especially because you're going to need it to heal up the Sim, who is going to maybe struggle a bit on this portion of the map with range, but to be honest, you don't really have to take a fight. You can just kind of TP up to this bridge and then rain down damage until it's time to go. I was saying optimistic ultimate that came out onto Fenris, but actually it did force out a lamp and eventually a kill onto Rory as well. Despite the use of the window by Ace, there's no tank who's able to effectualize it, basically. Yeah. So you're able to continue to work this one through for the members of Vision Esports, especially because Ace, not only do you wait out the window, but then you just kill the man himself, which is pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it's very dangerous to attempt a retouch here. But, I mean, Rory is kind of doing the worst of both worlds while trying to attempt to retouch, but, I mean, the blitz comes in, but everyone's at the HP, so the beat has to come out. Ace is also not back in the fray just yet. And there's the orbital ray, there's the sim wall, and Rory just explodes. Violet's getting so much impact with these orbital rays and the torpedoes. And yeah, Vision Esports just continue their roll to the end. They have 4 minutes to do so, and Quick have to find a way to regroup. Violet running into your entire front line, you'd think would be the way to do it, but somehow Evil is the one that walks away, taking the trip back to the school.
Yeah, that was spectacular bait coming through from Vision. They knew there was a Blizzard online, so they positioned themselves forward. The Blizzard came out, they put themselves back, and then run right back in with a orbital ray. Now they TP through to get this window at a very cheeky angle, but 1 actually loses life for it. Slow Dive instead just flips Fenris out of existence. Tama is still pushing with this Terror Surge. Quick Esports have not pushed past 3rd point. They're defending 2nd, and they can't defend 2nd.
Is there a patch where enemies can go through TPs? Because How did Fenris get kidnapped over outside of the choke and just die? I mean, they do have ults coming back. The window will maybe keep Rory up. The lamp's going to try and do its best. There's over coming out from Fenris. The window can't really be used properly, and Towers is dodging and weaving through. Been keeping up as well. The only casualty is that immortality field down, and someone touched the point. Fenris setting up for the time being. Rory has to do next, and there's going to be the beat available. There's a 2 as well, so this should be a relative civilization. There's the beat. Choice one is taken out. Hoping those C9s please no more, but Fenris and Whitebeard across the board are able to win that fight. Take basically like almost 2 minutes off the clock there as well, but still that was far too close for comfort.
Alright, they held on. We can have a sigh of relief here and then examine the board, and that is a singular blizzard from Quick Esports. I suppose Rory can build up to this Terror Surge, and then that's your combination. Terror Surge them back into the Blizzard so they all get frozen up, and it's overwhelming damage. But there's so many things that can ruin that. Simply put, you can use the Orbital Ray to deal a load of damage. The wall can prevent any interference, and I was gonna call out the bowler shot as well, but that didn't seem to do a whole lot. Instead, there it is, all reliable. That is the Violet Ultimate Orbital Ray that comes into the proceedings. Rory, who's just using the Terror Surge to live there. You don't get any effective combination with it. You don't get any effective damage, and you sure as hell don't stop Tower from just walking onto the bat. And I think that's going to spell the end of Quick Esports' upper bracket run about as quickly as it began.
Yeah, they will be knocked down to the lower bracket by Vision Esports. Had some fairly competitive moments, and you can't walk away too upset. This is Vision Esports again. All the marks in the world to get them almost guaranteed into that promotion bracket. That said, there has been some major disruption throughout the rest of the so Quick now, maybe still looking like they could be that second team to make it into the promotion relegation scene. And Fenris gets to play the game, able to hold on, able to make it a little bit of sweat required for Vision Esports, a little bit of knuckle work to grease their way on through. But yeah, a 3-0 from the side of Vision Esports onto Quick after the 3-2 that Quick dished out onto 0907 leads them now in the lower bracket, facing the winner, I believe. Is either 0907 or the winner of Area versus Gas Tier 3. I'm not sure which because I am stupid.
The best of us.
But if it's 0907, again, that would be a very interesting rematch. If it's Arius, I didn't expect to see that match coming up so quickly, but that's going to be a crucial one. Again, Arius Calton's being the second best team, the shoe-ins for the second place spot. Currently in the lower bracket, they lost to Dreamlight, and they're currently 1-1, at least maybe 2-1 somewhere now, versus Gas Tier 3. So Esports future, right now, the present, a bit down in the dumps. You got beaten down fairly as you expected, but your future is still bright. There is light at the end of the tunnel. That being said, I think that's going to be all from us here on the Quick channel. Thank you very much, Egda, for joining me here. Any closing words for top of us, of course, shouting out our wonderful sponsors that allow us to continue to see and promote such amazing teams and such high quality Overwatch, Hummel, Gamerpad, and Network Specialisten. Major thanks to you and your continued support. But yeah, any closing words for us on this stream?
No, not many, to be honest. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors. Big thank you to everyone who's been working in the background. Luau, I should say. Difficult to pronounce. Luau, Luau, Klar, and Melody working in the background to help get these games to you. Of course, FACEIT for allowing us into these lobbies, being able to get these matches to you, the players putting on a great performance, and of course, everyone watching at home to support the stream, and all of the co-streamers that have been briefly popping in and out of the streams. We've seen you for brief glimpses, so hi everyone. And bye everyone, because that's all that we have for Quick Esports. We should be looking at the next matchups throughout the playoffs as well, but it's heating up. Check it out on Wikipedia or FACEIT if you want to keep up to date on everything. Thanks so much for watching, and have a brilliant rest of your evening.
Bye-bye.